Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called Commercial Real Estate Prices Going to Zero. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's show on all your social media to help spread the word. Now, let's get started. Have you driven through the downtown areas of most cities these days? Have you checked out the buildings? Checked out the office towers? The retail towers? The buildings containing restaurants and other stores? Have you noticed anything unusual? Perhaps the fact that so many of them have for sale signs or for lease signs on them? The next time you drive through a downtown area, start counting the number of for sale and for lease signs that you see. If you do, then I think you will find it a bit disturbing because chances are there will be more than you can count. The problem is that all the stores and the restaurants and the offices that used to be located in those buildings are now gone, bankrupt, since they're no longer paying rent to the landlord or the owner or the bank. Then the buildings themselves can't make any money or even pay the debt that they owe. That's a huge problem for the banks, which gave the owners mortgages on those buildings, mortgages that they can no longer make payments on. The longer they refuse to make their payments, the lower the value of the building becomes. As the value of these buildings drops, so too does the amount of property taxes they can pay. In fact, many of them have stopped paying property taxes altogether. That means the cities are making less money. The farther and faster the real estate values of these buildings decline, the worse the market becomes. Many of these buildings are going to see their property values go to zero. The other huge problem is that if these buildings can't be rented out to stores or offices or restaurants, then who will rent them out? That's the big question. And that's the growing problem. What use or purpose could these buildings possibly serve going forward if they cannot be rented out? If you can't find tenants, then what? You basically have buildings that can't make money anymore. So, what will be done with them? People are looking at all sorts of options, but nothing really realistic or viable is on the table yet. Turning them into rental units for ordinary people would cost a fortune. Trying to find a new business tenant isn't working very well. And the more time passes without a solution, the worse all of this becomes. Why? Because their values keep dropping. In 2008, the values of some real estate dropped by as much as 80%. That means that buildings that cost $100 million could be purchased for $20 million. This time, it's different and it is much worse. It's worse because even if you could buy an office tower for 20 cents on the dollar, who are you going to rent it to? Why would somebody want to live in a building with few or no other tenants? Would you want to run your business out of an empty building with almost nobody there? And if you don't have a lot of tenants to share the maintenance costs with, then those few tenants that you do have will have to pay a lot more for maintenance each month. So, if things get bad, as some think they will, then what? Theoretically, some cities, or maybe a lot of cities, could end up with a massive forest of empty skyscrapers that aren't making any money and aren't paying any taxes and are not occupied. Then what? That's another problem because tearing them down would cost a fortune. It can cost $8 a square foot to tear down a skyscraper. If a skyscraper has 1 million square feet, then you're looking at $8 million to tear it down. That's just one building. If you multiply that times all the empty buildings in the city, then you can quickly see how bad this problem could get. It's quite possible that the high cost of demolition will prevent cities from doing anything with these buildings. They may end up just sitting there or standing there in the dark. If that's the case, then could they be used for housing the homeless? The problem with that is that you would have to still pay for electricity, heat, water, maintenance, and insurance, which would cost a fortune for these buildings. Unless they come up with a way to profitably repurpose these buildings, then we're looking at a massive problem that will affect many cities for years to come. Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's show on all your social media to help spread the word. Thank you, and we shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye.